Και tennis.
Καλημέρα.
Καλημέρα, καλημέρα. Wait, Dad, how is Larnaca?
Hello, good morning.
I will kindly ask you to keep your mode, to mute mode, okay? Just not to create noise after we start, okay? I can see also Apo Heshman coming, okay, that's great. Rosie Gazal. Okay, we are about to start. And we will be recording now our session. Friends, I'm very happy to invite you in our web press conference today. This is our first effort to get together in a web-based conference via Zoom on the occasion of the completion of our campaign, a project funded by the European Asylum, Migrants and Integration Fund, as well as the Republic of Cyprus. We are very happy that in this gathering, which involves both people from media and people from the refugees community, we will be able to discuss openly and listen to the voice of these people. Many times, we have the occasion in recent weeks to listen to various people discussing about migration and the fact that in recent years, especially after 2017, Cyprus is experiencing a considerable number of arrivals coming mainly from neighboring countries. This is, of course, the case. We know that we have a lot of people coming and they are asking for international protection. We do know, as our campaign, that our main target in all these months is to provide accurate information to the public opinion of Cyprus, the recipient society, in order to be able to understand the difficulties these people are facing, the community of refugees, recognized refugees, and asylum seekers. Of course, we do understand that the society have to do a lot to be able to integrate these people in the society. And we have to avoid any incidents of xenophobia, even more racism against these people. We do know that the European side, and namely the European Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund, is assisting a lot the public services in order to cope with the considerable number of arrivals in the last 2 years. Just to mention to all of you, according to the statistics we have, only in 2019, in this 12 months period, there were almost 14,000 of new asylum applications, which is a considerable number in compare with previous years. A lot of things happened during this period, and we faced also additional problems because of COVID-19 pandemic. Now, with this short introduction, I would like to give the chance to the representative of UNHCR office in Cyprus, Mrs. Katia Saha, to say how UNHCR is assessing the whole situation in Cyprus, where we need to pay more attention, where we need to make more effort to handle migration flows. Mrs. Saha, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Kyriakos and the AWARE campaign to invite me, and I'm really looking forward to contributing to this important topic. And thank you all for participating in the discussion that's taking place in these very extraordinary times. The COVID-19, it is really a situation unlike anything that we've faced before, and we have all been impacted in one way or the other, coping, trying to protect our families. Many are also struggling with economic hardships as a result of the pandemic. But while in the face of this public health crisis, we're all vulnerable. I think it is very clear that people who flee conflict or persecution have been the hardest hit. And as countries battle to protect their populations and economics, fundamental norms of refugee protection and human rights have also been put at risk. And as Filippo Grandi, our High Commissioner for Refugees, has noted, the core principles of refugee protection are really being put to test. But people who are forced to flee conflict and persecution should not be denied safety and protection on the pretext or even as a side effect of responding to the virus. In Cyprus and of course elsewhere in the world as well, UNHCR has been very closely monitoring the impact of the COVID-19 epidemic on refugees and asylum seekers, and has been addressing issues of concern to the competent authorities from the very beginning of the crisis. We have been making recommendations to address the challenges. At the same time, we have prioritized access to accurate information on the virus and the related measures that were then taken by the national authorities. We then assisted the government of Cyprus by translating all the official health advisory and other information related to the emergency into a number of languages of asylum seekers and refugees present in Cyprus. These flyers were then disseminated to camps as well as NGOs and refugee volunteers to reach out on the community in the cities. The major issues of concern that have been raised in Cyprus really relate to the access to territory and asylum procedures. The decision to relocate vulnerable asylum seekers from hotels or other structures to overcrowded reception centers, and the particular hardships faced by asylum seekers by staying in closed and overcrowded centers for an indefinite period of time, without really having access to sufficient information about their cases or their future, the increased homelessness and destitution, and also obstacles in accessing healthcare. While we fully support all the measures that aim at controlling the epidemic, UNHCR has been advocating for solutions that meet both the public health and the refugee protection requirements. And securing public health and protecting refugees are not mutually exclusive. And we, in fact, have to do both. The long recognized refugee laws can be respected even as governments adopt very stringent measures to protect public health, including at the borders. Now, seeking asylum is a fundamental human right, and it is guaranteed by international law, including the 51 Refugee Convention. And no one should be detained or otherwise sanctioned for exercising this right, even if this person has arrived irregularly. Now, UNHCR has consistently reiterated the legitimate right of states to manage their borders. However, at the same time, the states have an obligation under international law to protect those who seek asylum by permitting them access to territory and safe reception conditions. Now, the reception capacities for new arrivals in a number of European states have been under pressure for quite some time. And this situation has been aggravated by the COVID-19 emergency. The virus transmission risks are particularly high in overcrowded reception facilities or confined spaces, such as immigration detention facilities. But it has been encouraging to see that many European states have begun to release detained asylum seekers into much safer reception conditions. States have also taken a variety of proactive measures to improve conditions in reception facilities with the view to reduce transmission risks. Some have also quickly created additional temporary reception capacity by, for example, populating unused facilities or empty hotels to decongest crowded camps or other facilities, prioritizing, of course, the move of at-risk groups, such as older persons. It is also noteworthy that nearly 2/3 of European countries have found ways to manage the borders effectively while also allowing access to their territories for people who seek asylum. Medical screenings at borders, health certification, or temporary quarantine upon arrival are some of the measures put in place. So these are very important positive precedents for other states in Europe and beyond. And as Europe now starts to shift measures in its response to COVID-19, there are risks, but there are also opportunities. So measures that are taken at this time of adversity may also contribute to building more resilient asylum systems in the future. UNHCR has issued a compilation of good practices and practical recommendations that we have also shared here in Cyprus. And these offer very practical support to states in ensuring access to territory and asylum, addressing movement restrictions, or in communicating effectively with asylum seekers on COVID-19 risks. While Cyprus and other parts of the world navigate in this new normality, we strongly believe that the Republic of Cyprus has an opportunity to put in place adequate systems for both reception and integration of refugees simultaneously. And Cyprus is definitely not alone in this task. EU provides very important financial support, and UNHCR, we are here to assist with the good practices and recommendations for effective integration, already tested in other countries. The National Integration Plan for third country nationals is expected to materialize in 2020, regardless of the crisis. And it should address head-on the most pressing issues faced by every refugee, which are housing, employment, vocational training, language, and education. Now, integration should also include effective strategies and educational programs to promote the virtues of tolerance, inclusion, multiculturalism, diversity, and mutual respect. According to an opinion poll that we commissioned 2 years ago, the general feelings of Cypriots at that time towards refugees, migrants, and migration in general were from neutral to negative. But however, the very negative narrative that has prevailed in Cyprus for more than 2 years since this poll was commissioned, it is a major concern to UNHCR. The narrative that Cyprus cannot cope, or that Cyprus is being invaded, or even calling refugees a threat, it really makes effective integration very difficult to achieve. So let's all emphasize in the public and political discourse that behind these numbers of asylum seekers and refugees in Cyprus, there are real individuals, fathers, mothers, and children who have really lost everything but hope. The refugees have enormous challenges to face when they arrive in any new country. They often arrive alone, they are separated from their families, and with little more than the clothes on their back. And many, unfortunately, also arrive traumatized by the experience of persecution and violence, carrying with them this kind of a psychological and physical scars that can really haunt them over years. So I will conclude by saying that there is still a long way to go in terms of dispelling myths and enhancing awareness and understanding for refugees. and fostering in general acceptance and inclusion that will enable effective integration. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Κυριάκο, δεν ακούγεσαι, είσαι mute.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Saha, for your introduction, in which you have addressed a number of issues that should be discussed openly in the framework of this first conference. There is still a long way to go to address the needs of those people who are seeking international protection in our country. This is one of the key messages you are sending to us with this, with your introduction. Now I will give the chance to Mr. Mazem Beshtawi to express himself and address issues in relation to what he has experienced during these 3 months of the pandemic, especially in his capacity of being able to contact a lot of people from the refugees and asylum seekers community. Mazem, the floor is yours for 3-4 minutes, please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Mazem Beshtawi, and I'm a cultural mediator and interpreter for Cyprus Refugee Council, implementing partner of UNHCR. The situation we had it in the Cyprus everywhere and generally in the world with the pandemic situation, it was very new experience as well. We had it. Now it's a proof it's happening. Also investing technology to meet, to talk, even though we're having this restriction, let's say before with the COVID-19. My role was being the third part, or let's say the broker between the refugee community with our office and with the government to help them out with the situation. Like we were in the emergency line for people in need for food supplies, or if we were also mediating refugees in need for calling the emergency line for the COVID. I will speak particularly about my work, especially in the Bornara and Coquina Trimitia camp, and I'm gonna talk about the community and how they were refugee community and how they were, and during this the COVID-19. First of all, this is not a statistic, or this is only my observation as a service officer, like one-to-one, let's say, how to, if I wanted to put it. And this is how I experienced this COVID-19 with the beneficiaries, with the client, and with the government. First of all, I'm gonna start with the movement of the asylum seeker. I find it unnecessary to in the camp during the COVID-19. The picture we posted in our media in Coquina Provincia, and the first, it has to be the first registration. The purpose was for all asylum seeker in Cyprus, as they enter Cyprus, to pass through Coquina Trimitia, the center for the registration, for maximum day 72 hours. And the last month, it's turned into a detention center. People cannot exit. We have been trying to talk to the government, to talk to the admin in the camp, to at least to have, we have vulnerable cases, we have pregnant women, where our role was trying to put the spotlight on those vulnerable people to get them out, or to there is another alternative solution. And this have been also in the refugees in the community, with helping them with labor office, and also with the welfare. There is many people in the community, they're worker, they're having social insurance, and all the guideline, we had it from the government, we had it in Greek. We had a team. We're translating the materials from Greek to English, and including myself and others, we were helping with Arabic and French and Persian and Somalis and other language, to be able to reach this information and this guideline from the government to the all the community. We had it. It was interesting also, like having a session as well, like in WhatsApp, like as well, which is the first time I have done that. This is like monitor job. Usually I'm away from it. I'm like with my job as like I'm working with the community and being all direct in touch with them. What I wanted to say of my observation, or what I might believe about, like backing to Kukino Trimitia, they were a bit chaos, in the sense of I don't think, according to the Ministry of Health measures, I don't see where's the measures happen when there's a small tent, like there is 4 to 5 people inside the tent, with very, let's say, there is no even the basic matches, like according to the measures, like for the COVID. For example, with the raw floor, if you could see back then the picture, that was. Then also, like when they weren't enough, let's say, facility for them with the toilet, shower. I was a bit like disappointed in that major, like which is some people, they have been living in hotels, and we were in contact also with them, and they were, all of them, they were worried, when is the next time the people will, like the government or someone will knock my door to ask me to go to the camp, which is everybody's happy there with this, which was a cheap hostel funded by the welfare, and most of the single people had been moved to the camp. All the indication I sensed, or we have it, was like only from the African community. Families with kids, they were remain in the hotels. Like I didn't see also, like I didn't see Syrian being moved to the camp. They were the response from the authority. I think they may have just sent it. Let's say mostly, like you said, the post publicly about the government, like about the measures, and I believe it doesn't match with what they had posted. What I wanted to add is.
By concluding, Mazem, as a conclusion,
yeah.
The main area of concern was the situation in the reception center in Urnara, as well as the ability of people to get the necessary information. I'm talking about those who are not at the reception center, those who are out in the society, to get accurate information of what will happen with their allowances or benefits or social insurances, etc. These were the key areas of concern.
Exactly. This is what was like my role was like mediating and also translating materials to be valid to everybody in different languages as well. Like my part was with Arabic, to make like awareness about what is the update, what we are having here in the Republic for about the labor office or the social insurance, and also with the welfare.
Okay.
And
let's keep it to this point, just to give a chance to other people to express themselves as well.
Sure.
This discussion is being recorded. A number of my colleagues, journalists, ask to be able to follow it as a recorded video afterwards. I want to listen to people who were also affected from the pandemic, while striving to find a way to integrate in the society. We have people who were able to attend into several projects funded by the European Union, aiming to facilitate their integration into Cyprus society. But of course, pandemic worked as an additional obstacle to previous efforts they were used to have. Can I ask anyone of our participants to
I just sorry, just like last part I wanted to say it. For if you like, we didn't had any information, like most of the, like let's say they had the opinion about like we should, like we have this policy of detaining instead of helping out with the let's say accelerating, since we have the pandemic and we have the lockdown, we didn't have zero arrival. And we were wondering if it's gonna be like an additional, let's say, time for asylum service to be more examining cases, or they have the log of the desk work of some people has been having interviews, and they are waiting for decision if they would be an answer, or there is an acceleration, or let's say if there is a positive from this, let's say, break of having zero arrival, and having people have been waiting for a long time for getting their decision, even though there is people have been make their interview. And also the last things I wanted to say, like most of the refugees and people who has been coming from very difficult and different area, they have very knowledge and experience. They experience from the war, from the many pandemic things. They were more scared than, let's say, the Cypriot or the other, because they had through a lot also maybe in their country. So I didn't see any indication of large number of people belong to the background of refugees having COVID-19 and their threat to the in the area, or in the, let's say, in the country, and it need to be like detained in the camp, where again, as I said before, there is not matching the major, which is from the Ministry of Health, as they posted publicly their page.
Yes, I take a note about also the another area of concern is the fact that we don't have a real acceleration of the procedures examining the requests for asylum. Things were trapped from the pandemic, and we still have people waiting for 2, 3, or 4 years, even more, for an answer from the authorities. Now, I would like to give the chance to other people to say a few things about their experiences. I would kindly ask you to be short and to the substance. Raise the main issue of your concern based on your experiences, even before the pandemic, but also during this difficult period. Who wants to speak, please? Who wants to start? Yes, please, Mr. Apoheshman. If you have the say, okay, sir? Can you please? Mr. Apohesham.
Hello?
Yes, please.
Muhammad Alwan. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I am Muhammad Alwan from Palestine. I have been here in Larnaca since 2018, maybe 20 months. Recently, I got the protection refugee, and with my family, my wife and son. So regarding this meeting, I would like to thank our team and UNHCR for organizing this important meeting to raise our problems which we faced during the COVID-19.
Mr. Abohesham, which is your main area of concern? All these months you are trying to integrate in the Cyprus society. Which is your key obstacle?
I am coming to this. First of all, I want to blame all the NGOs whom are working here in Larnaca, because we couldn't see anything of activity it should be to do for the refugees, especially for the refugees. For example, personally, I faced problem to get medicine because regularly I got medicine, my wife and I, but I couldn't find how to get it because I am not follow the new system of healthcare. I asked 2 organizations how to get my medicine. They don't know or to guide me how to get it. They told me, they gave me some number and ask them, or you can go to the emergency hospital. And so they don't guide me well how to get this medicine. After that, I go to the private pharmacy and I got it. And so I faced several problems. Other things that the organization, I didn't see anything they provided for the asylum seeker or the refugees. And just some organization, they deliver parcel food each 2 weeks for somebody or some people whom are needy. Also, I tried to call the municipality. I hear that the municipality of Larnaca, they give food for the people whom are. I called them. They asked me, if you are refugee, we just for the Cypriot people, we gave them food. Other thing, also, we need some organization to protect the refugees, to take care about them, or to give them guide how, for example, I got rent check rent. Now 2 months I didn't receive it. To whom I go? I need some organization to guide me how to get my rights of benefit. Also,
Mr. Abohesham,
yes.
You have identified very, very basics of your life. I thank you very much for this first position. You address the issues of medicines because of the new system, the national health system. We have to check whether it covers also people of international protection or asylum seekers. Second is food. Third is cheap rentals. Let me please give the chance to other friends to address their obstacles, to address their issues, and then we sum everything together and check where do we stand. Thank you very much, Mr.
One point, please.
One point more.
One point.
Just be sure.
Be short. I need some organization to organize vocational training for the asylum seeker or the refugees. Intensive courses as vocational training for them to provide them with work opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you.
Third,
this is
another important element is how to integrate into the labor market. We can provide more information about that while we continue our discussion. Who wants to speak and raise issues? Please be short and as more specific as you can, as Mr. Abu Hisham.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Who wants to speak?
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes. Tell me your name, just to identify you. Wedat?
Hello, Wedat from Palestine. Thank you for you. Before we start talking about difficulties we face before and after COVID-19, I think we have many problems before, and now there's many problems after COVID-19. As a refugee, we can't easily work, so our skills and education will dull over those long years. The refugee here want the same things that people want everywhere. We can't do this alone, okay? We can't do this alone. I think the NGOs and the organization here in Cyprus has an essential role in supporting the refugee by finding donors to support projects run by a refugee. And I think as a refugee, we need quick and effective access to the labor market after finishing courses done by a lot of organizations here. Okay, we take courses, but after these courses, we need effective access to the labor market. And in the end, I want to say that refugees are not problem. They are part of solution here in Cyprus.
They are part of the solution. Thank you very much, Wedat, addressing the needs for vocational training, funding programs, and allow them to be active participants in the society. Who wants to add more to this discussion, please? Rana? Unmute, please. Unmute. Can you unmute, Rana? Yes. Yes, we are listening to you.
Morning, everybody. I am Rana Al-Hujouj from Palestine. I am asylum seeker. I'm here since 7 months. I have big problem with our fund because I take check for rent and the coupons. Started COVID-19, I didn't receive anything. When we go to our farm, we stay a long hour outside the door. No one talk with us. Whatever the weather, if sunny, rainy, anything, we been a long time outside the door. You imagine this difficult situation and very dangerous because the COVID-19. The welfare, no one answer us, no one talking with us. When we ask him, you can write a paper. Also, we will we will call you. 3 months, no one called me. 3 months, I wait to call me. I didn't pay the rent. I have big problem with the owner. Maybe anytime the owner throw me out the house. You imagine? No, when I talk with him, no one answer. I talk with some refugee, some association. Some association give me food. And I call the Red Cross, give me the food. But that is not enough because I need the check, I need the coupons. This is my problem.
Thank you very much, Rana. No, you are left completely alone during all this pandemic period, 3 months, without any assistance.
Without anything. They didn't give me check, they didn't give me anything.
Thank you, Rana. Who wants to add more to this discussion? Clara?
Can I speak?
Yes, please. Who asked to speak?
I'm Shiraz.
Please, Shiraz.
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Shiraz Ali. I come from Iraq of Kurdistan. As Vedat said, that coronavirus, it doesn't problem for us. We have many problems. It's not just coronavirus. I thought that coronavirus is good for us because we learn a lot of things of this situation. But I want to talk about this situation right now, that all Cypriot people, they are stand up, like they don't want any more refugees. They don't want Muslim, and this is problem for all of us, not just Muslim, for all refugee, because they are stand up just to take out the refugee. I want to say, this is my question. Okay, we have problem in our country and we are unsafe. We are came here to just save, but now our life is not safe also here because all Cypriot people, they hate us. Okay.
Shiraz, you say all Cypriot people hate you. You feel much
unsafe.
Of racism and unsafe. Where do you live?
I live Larnaca.
Larnaca.
Yeah.
And you get the sense that there is a lot of racism and discrimination, bad behavior of locals?
Yes, because one time when I go out alone, I think at 1 o'clock, 2 men with the mentor skill, they hit me and I fell down, they run. I cannot see the number of this mentor skill, but because I have scarf, they won't take out my scarf. And I just shocked. Why? They are speaking Greek. I don't know if they are Cypriot or they are another way, but they are speak Greek. And I just thinking, why they hate Muslim? Why they hate refugee? Okay, if we don't have problem, we'll go back. We don't like to stay here, but sorry, I just speak. I want to say thank you for this government on Cyprus, that he's very good, because he's just close everywhere to just not coronavirus not go very big. That's why we can stay alive. And thank you for your government. I don't know what's his name, but I love him because he's very kind.
Thank you, Shiraz. Thank you. Of course, it's open to everyone if you want to get involved. We have also journalists who are following the discussion, and they will come to their conclusions. If they want to raise any questions, Lukianos, Thomas, if you want to raise any question in relation to what we are listening, the idea is, okay, we are discussing a lot about asylum seekers, but about migration. Many describe the situation as a threat to the locals, and this has provoked a lot of anxiety, a lot of fear among the community of asylum seekers and refugees. Really, our basic aim as a WARE campaign is, while addressing the principles of the European Asylum, Migration and Integration Fund, from where we receive the support to implement this project, is to give the chance to asylum seekers and the refugees to raise their voice. This is the reason we invite you all to this discussion. Who wants to speak and add anything he wants in this discussion? Clara.
Hi.
Hi, Clara.
Hi, my name is Clara. I'm from Syria. I've been in Cyprus since 21 months. I would like to talk about the Syrian community and the Cypriot community here. Unfortunately, recently, I'm in Paphos. Recently, there is some problems that some of Syrians are making here. And because of that, the Cypriot community is hating us all. So this is one of the major problems here, that the Cypriot community is refusing everyone who is not Cypriot, everyone who is not interactive in the community. They are refusing anyone who is called Syrian, who is called Palestinian, who is called refugee. And one of the most major other problems is that finding job as asylum seeker, they allow us only in specific jobs. Jobs are not even, how to describe this? It's not, they always want to hide us as refugees at jobs, like as a kitchen assistant in the farms. They always want to hide. You can't see asylum seeker who is at the reception in the hotel, for example. It's hard. It's unbelievable that they always and want to hide us, want to keep us out of the shades. Mm-hmm. And this is one of the major problems here.
Clara, have you been able to participate in any of the vocational programs introduced recently in Cyprus?
I was in First Step program, and before the pandemic, I was taking Greek lessons from the IKEA organization.
Greek lessons, yes.
Yes, mm-hmm. But through the pandemic, it stops for about 3 months. So those 3 months were very, very ugly 3 months, mm-hmm. because mm-hmm. they stopped everything. They stopped the chance to getting better in that community. And
you consider that, especially in recent weeks, there is much of xenophobia in Paphos area?
Yeah, there is phobia, there is resistance, there is a lot of things that's hard. We are afraid to call that we are Syrian. Even the Syrian people that wears hijab, they are afraid to going out because of these problems here. Mm-hmm. They only judge us about how we look, how they judge us about from one person attitude, not a whole community attitude. And in every nation, there is the bad people and there's a good people.
Yes, you're right, you're right. Are there any questions from journalists if they want to raise? I just want to inform you that very recently, during the last 18 months, for the first time, a project funded by the European Asylum Integration and Migration Fund was introduced in Cyprus as vocational training to assist refugees and asylum seekers to get additional skills and enter into the labor market. This is the first time such a program was introduced in Cyprus. Very valuable because nobody wants to trap these people into allowances and being dependent from taxpayers. The basic assumption is that we need to give them room to access the labor market. We need to assist them to start on their own feet. This is basically what we are thinking, especially on the level of the unit of European funds in Cyprus. Ale Satipai, do you want to say something?
Yes.
Please, where are you coming from?
I'm from Sierra Leone. Ali Alpha Siliwe is my name.
Yeah.
From Sierra Leone. West Africa.
Yes.
Good morning.
When did you came to Cyprus? When did you came to Cyprus?
December
December.
2019. Yes, 2019.
Yes.
I came to Cyprus. I would like to say good morning to everybody. Thanks to First Step for this great opportunity and good initiative they are doing to we, the asylum seekers and also a refugee. I hope to see more of this. I'm very much motivated by the efforts of First Step. You know, this is what we...
First Step is the project for vocational training to access the labor market.
Yes.
It was the nickname First Step, yes.
It's very important for us. It's very important for us because as asylum seekers and if refugees, a lot of people have skills, but our own system is different to this system we are facing here, right? I just have some recommendations, if possible. Want to add to some of my colleagues who have been spoken. One is some of the difficulties is access to labor markets. Some have skills, but we have to improve our skills. We have to improve our skills. How can we improve our skills in this situation as asylum seekers in this country? Cyprus is a great country. I will say thanks to everybody. But my own suggestion is that I'm appealing to NGOs and also to the government for us to get access to more vocational institutions, for us to improve our skills. For me,
have you been able to find any job in Cyprus, Ali? You are asylum seeker, so
yes,
you are
I'm
limited to specific professions. Have you been able to find some?
For now, not yet. Not yet. I have not. I have applied so many, jobs, but no reply for me yet. Because I have my own degrees, because I'm a degree holder, and I have another skills in computer science. I apply, but our job is limited. As asylum seekers, our job is limited. So I think that is the reason. But what I'm trying to say is that we need more vocational. For us as asylum seekers, some of us want to be independent. We want to be independent and help the government, because as asylum seekers who have access to job will not depend everything on government. We need to support government also to pay our taxes. To pay our taxes, I think that will also help the government for the burden to be less. Because as for example, as a family man, I have my kids not doing anything. If they everybody depend on me, it'll be difficult for me. I cannot able to do anything. But if I'm working, my son is working or my wife is working, we can do a better thing. Just an example, what I'm trying to say. So as this NGOs, Citizen in Power, there is another NGOs as I recommend also, because they offer a skill training. For me, I apply on a job. They have to train us for 3 months every weekend. But due to this pandemic, I stopped going there at the University of Nicosia because I stay in the Kofino camp, right? I was going there because of this pandemic, I stopped. But it's a great idea. A lot of refugee asylum seekers are going there to upgrade our skills. They are doing online courses during this pandemic, but for me, rather unfortunate, I don't have computer and I have no money for me to buy a computer right now, So I used to follow up, but as you know, IT, you need to have computer because everything is practical. That is the most important thing. So I was unable to complete. I will say thanks to them. And these ideas, First Step is bringing is good. I'm appealing to more NGOs to follow the same step. There are NGOs who are donating food items to asylum seekers, refugees. It's good idea. It's good idea, but it's good for us to get access and be for ourselves, be self-independent.
Thank you very much, Ali,
Yeah.
for your contribution.
Yes.
It's very valuable, very, very valuable to listen to what are your expectations as being, let's say, part of the society and not just dependent from allowances and the assistance of the government. You want to find a way to access the labor market, Greek lessons, vocational training, enable in order to organize your life with dignity, I must say. This is what we get from many, many indirect chats we have with people of your community. Thank you very much. Who wants to say something more?
I have one question. I have one question which
Yes.
I want to ask is, as for me in my own community here, Kofino, I will say thanks to the management and thanks to the government, because I'm okay in terms of medicals, accommodation, everything. Shelter is good for us. It's good for us. We'll say thanks to them. I want to ask these questions concerning about people who stay in Punaras. What is their situation and what is their fate? How long they will be there? And I also want to appeal to the asylum agencies to do like the way we are living in the Kofino here, the kind of how we are here. I want them to upgrade at the same level as Kofino. I think if that happens, that even they transfer people there from the hotel, because this is a big burden, paying hotel fees, house rent. Because if we're in the company, for example, I stay in a hotel for 1 month and a half. Presently, I'm in Kofino for almost 4 months now. I'm in Kofino. It's good for me. I have no problem. If they operate in Punara the same way, I believe it will be comfortable.
Yeah.
We'll say
one of the key areas of concern because of the pandemic, as mentioned also by Mrs.
I also have a letter that I don't know if you can permit me for me to share with the group here as a chat. I don't know if possible, because I have a letter to the government and also the management, refugees, NGOs. It's an appreciation letter. I don't know if you can permit me to share it to the group.
Send it to us, okay? Send it to us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ali.
Yeah.
We have some more friends. We still have 10 to 15 minutes and a conclusion remark by Katia Zaha. Who wants to take the floor or even set a question? Of course, we will need to have more information of what is the real situation in Purnara First Reception Camp, which was designed for few days staying, and it is being used as a, due to the pandemic, as the place to stay for 3 months now and more. Who wants to raise any other issue? Ekram, yes, please.
Good morning, everyone. First, let me talk about coronavirus. Coronavirus was a difficult time for everyone, not only for refugees.
Where are you coming from, Ekram? Where are you coming from?
I come from Syria. I live in Cyprus 7 years.
7 years. You are recognized refugee? You're recognized refugee? Yeah.
Please. I'm refugee, yeah. In fact, we are, as a refugee, we need training into the labor market, and we need more plans to learn languages, because some of us, we sit home for years and we don't know English or Greek, so we need to learn. And more, I want to have more position as work. I worked before 1 year, and I'm happy because when I worked, I said I lost 6 years when I sit in home. So I trying to save for refugees. Don't stay home. Just trying to be useful in Cyprus, because we need to help the government. It will help us for sure, but also we cannot stay at home and we will complain all the time. So, in fact, that's what I want to say. We have to be useful and to learning more and to improve our skills to be more good, to don't have a roof on our our dreams. If we have roof, we cannot improve. We cannot be more useful.
Thank you, Ikram, for sharing your expectations and your strength to work, and your message to all the refugee community: go out, go for work, find a way to stand on your feet.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sorry because I'm have a little stress, so my language is.
It's very good, very good. Your language is very good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do we have any more contributions? Maybe Lukianos, Thomas, you want to raise anything? And
Kyriakos, I want to address a question to Ms. Widad Uda. I want to ask, over the years, the Cypriots sympathized with the Palestinian community and struggle. Is there any shift in this attitude?
Hello. First, you think that, but I live here 5 years in Cyprus. And when I want to work, because I have, I study Greek language, I speak English well, and I am medical analysis, chemicals. And when I go to work in companies or in lab, the first questions, when they see me put the scarf, say, Widad, everything is okay, we love Palestinian, you are so pretty, you are intelligent, you have all your certificates. I organized my certificate in Kisat, so I have Cypriot certificate. But there is one problem. I ask them, what's the problem? Widad, you put this scarf, so when anyone from Cyprus, Cypriot, come, he know that you are Muslim from other religion. I say to them, I can't take off my scarf because you want, because I believe in that, okay? And if you come to my country and we ask your mother or sister to put the scarf, you say yes? We can't say that. We live Christian and Muslim together. We love together in Palestine. Palestine and Jerusalem and Gaza. We live each together. And when there's war, the church open for the Muslim to pray. The church in our country open for us as a Muslim to pray. Why in Cyprus we didn't see that? The problem was this scarf. You are very good, you are pretty, everything is okay. So now I go to international organization as Caritas. Now I'm as a volunteer in Caritas because it's an international organization and need Arabic assistant to translate to the Arabic refugee. So this only. But when I go to companies, to lab, because I want to work in our certificate, they say no. They say no. They know that I'm Palestinian, but they say no. With that, the problem is the scarf. I think the scarf is not a problem because our mind is the same. If I put it or I take it off.
Thank you, Widad. Thank you, Widad, very much. Thomas, θέλεις να ρωτήσεις κάτι? You want to raise a question and to...
Yes, I would like to ask something, Clara. Hello to everybody. Clara, you said something about, you said that some Syrians here in Cyprus causes some problems, and because of that, the majority or the Cypriots see you in a bad way and behave you in a very bad way. I want to ask you, is there, do you think that the majority of the Cypriots behave you in a bad way, or is just a minority, just like the Syrian minority that causes problems here? There is a Cypriot minority that causes problem with the foreigners, with the immigrants. That's my question.
Thank you. I think as a Syrian, in the Cypriot community, there is a good and beautiful people, and there's a bad and resist people. So I think for us, only the bad people are coming in our way as a refugees and as Assyrians. That's why the problem is the bad people are attacking us. Like my colleague said, they attacked her on the bike and they were speaking Greek. This is facing like another pandemic from the COVID-19. There is.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Clara. Thank you.
Kiriago, can I ask something more?
Yes, please.
I want to ask a question regarding the last 18 months. Do we have people here that live in Cyprus for more than 18 months?
We have.
Yes.
So, okay, the question, I would like to know their opinion regarding the possible rise in racism during the last 18 months. I'm asking because I would like to know their opinion on that, because I want to see if the government speech contributed to the possible rise of racism.
Thank you, Lukianos. Who wants to share his or her experiences, whether we have a rise of racism, especially during the last year? What do you think, especially those people who came earlier to Cyprus? Maybe Ekram knows better, she came earlier. Shiraz, since when you are in Cyprus?
2 years.
2 years. Do you consider there is an escalation of xenophobia, phobia in Cyprus?
I think when I came here, Cyprus is very, very good for refugees, and all people, not like now, they are very kind. And when we are walking down street, they are all Cypriot tell us, hi, yasa, stikanis, and we are very happy on that. Like when I came here after 6 months, and about welfare and labor office, everything is okay. Everything is very good, fantastic. But now, when have many refugees come here, and it's everything change. It's like we have the, how can I say, sorry, my English is not good. And the rule is very, very difficult right now. I don't know why, but the situation also difficult, the rule difficult, everything. We cannot do anything, and I don't know what we should do.
Thank you, Shiraz. Waitat, you want to contribute to that? Clara, do you consider that in recent months we have a rise of xenophobia among the recipient country, the Cypriots?
I've been here since from 21 months. So from the day that I get my alien card, I start to look about for job. When I go in a restaurant or any place I would like to apply, they told me, before they ask me what is your qualifications, they ask me from where are you. When I say Syrian, they told me, no, sorry, we don't have any available jobs, or we can call you later. I think this is one of the, this thing is up from year and 7 months. I'm having this problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if they want to hire me, they told me your paperwork in the government take a long time as an asylum seeker. Not like the European citizen, we only go and make the insurance and we hire him immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You're right, yeah.
Yeah. So also it's a paperwork.
Yeah, the paperwork take a long time for asylum seeker to.
And it is restricted, and you have restrictions in jobs. You cannot.
Yeah, not any job. We can apply. We have a specific jobs. Jobs are hard, actually, like working in the farms. like animal farms, fish farms, like working in as a kitchen assistant. The jobs are hard. And there's a lot of Syrians came to here with the certificate, with the college certificate, and they hire them in those jobs.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We are about to conclude our conference. I would ask Katia Saha if she wants to comment on what has been heard. Very, very interesting to listen to refugees, their expectations. We are talking about basic needs, but we are talking also about a long way to go to find a better understanding of the problems and also implement specific actions. Katia Saha, what do you believe?
Thank you. Yes, I think it has become clear to everybody who listened that while we all have been affected by this health crisis, the refugees and asylum seekers really have been the hardest hit. And they have really been faced with these additional difficulties, starting from lack of food, loss of jobs. Some had previously employment that they have now lost, shelter. Many who had shelter previously now have lost that housing opportunity because of the delayed payments in rental subsidies. There's been really substantial delays in receiving these rental allowances and coupons, and many were left without really the basic necessities. And simple difficulties like we heard some individuals have had difficulties reaching out to NGOs, to us, to the government, and sometimes even for the fact that they have not been able to charge their mobile phones with credit. So they have been left without credit, without the ability to contact anyone for help, to even share information on their situation. And I really wanted to thank our refugee volunteers who have been continuously in contact with the communities of different nationalities and who have been bringing us this very valuable information on the challenges that has then enabled us to take action with the authorities. But I think one important point that I wanted to make is that the COVID-19, it's not just a physical health crisis, but it's also now triggering a mental health crisis because of all the challenges, additional challenges. The refugee and asylum seeking community is remarkably resilient, and they really are able to move forward despite of having experienced violence or persecution firsthand. And now we've really reached a point where their capacities to cope are being stretched to the limit. And this is something that we need to factor in the reception conditions. We talk about integration, but the integration really starts at the reception. So if the reception conditions are not adequate, and if individuals are really driven to the limit of their resilience, just trying to survive, it is very difficult to achieve successful integration. And there really the public opinion plays an enormously important role. So somehow we would need to be better organized and communicate better, and to really pass this message to all the Cypriots that no one chooses to be a refugee or an asylum seeker, and these individuals are here because they have rights. They do not need charity. They need a dignified treatment. They need to have their rights respected. They need to have adequate reception conditions. And then we can build on this with further activities, a strategy to ensure that they will also integrate in the Cypriot society. But as I said, I think now we've heard firsthand information on the challenges that are that these individuals are facing, and of course these communities also include a very high number of very vulnerable individuals who would not have the opportunity to even share of their difficulties or to participate in this kind of an event. So we really need to need to think of them. We need to think how to reach out. We need to be inclusive, find ways to hear their voices and to have them participate actively in the construction of this integration strategy. It is not UNHCR who has the sufficient expertise, nor anybody else. It's really the asylum seekers and refugees themselves that have to be considered as the most active participants and the builders of this strategy. And I hope that we will find ways to create these opportunities in the near future.
Thank you very much, Katia Sacha, for your remarks. I would say as a conclusion of this web gathering between journalists and refugees and asylum seekers themselves, as a real way to communicate. We have experienced in recent weeks and days and months people talking about migration, about asylum seekers, etc., but we gave very, very few attention to listen to their voices directly. This is what our campaign wanted to give, the chance to these people to speak. We feel like fulfilling our continuous effort to bring them out of the shadows, to bring them in the main scene of our society, because there are ways, we strongly believe that there are ways to support a smooth integration of these communities into the Cyprus society without feeling that they are the problem, a problem or a threat for our people. And we do believe that the European Union, as well as UNHCR, can provide the necessary assistance in order to have them as active members of our society. I would like to thank all of you for your participation. The remarks of Katia Sacha will be circulated with the press release, as well as the recorded version of this discussion. I see also Nenad from Limassol now as a video. I would like to really thank you for this opportunity we have, and we will continue and repeated it in the first occasion. We'll be able to bring you all together again. Thank you very much. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.